Okay, this video is for organic gardeners. So this is a small experiment to find out if you can use any of the organic materials that are available around us, and if these organic materials can be used as fertilizers, and if they can be useful or harmful for our plants. So I have 3 tomato plants here that were grown from seeds, germinated from seeds at the same time. They are all of same age, and the potting mix in all 3 pots is exactly the same. So the first organic material that I have is cocoa powder, which is easily available in markets. I like to check a pH of anything that I feed to my plants, and for that reason I have this pH buffer solution, and I also have this pH meter. And the second organic material that I have here is coffee, which is also easily available in markets, and this is the cheapest plant that I could find for the purpose of this experiment. So I want to see the effect of this cocoa powder and coffee on the plant growth. So this is a pH meter. So let's check the pH of the buffer solution, just to check to see whether our pH meter is calibrated or not. So this is 7.1. The pH meter is calibrated, or is almost calibrated, and I will take a tablespoon full of cocoa powder and mix it well in the water. Mix it with water thoroughly to make sure that there are no clumps. Mixing is not easy because it is a very fine powder. I'm just making sure that there are no clumps and powder is completely dissolved in water so that I can measure the pH correctly. You can probably sprinkle powder directly onto the soil or in the pot, but I just wanted to make sure that the pH of the solution. And then I will, and this is coffee for the other cup, and I'm using a separate spoon to avoid any contamination. So there's around 250 ml of water in each cup, so almost the same quantity of both organic materials, i.e. cocoa powder and the coffee. So I'll remove some of these things that are not required anymore, just to make some space. And the pH of cocoa powder is above 8, 8.3, 8.2, 8.3. It is very alkaline in nature, and in theory it should kill the tomato plant. pH of 8.3 is quite high for tomato plants. It is very alkaline. Tomato plants like to have acidic soil, and in theory the plant should not survive. So I will wash the meter, check the pH of the buffer solution again, and then pH of the coffee is 6.2, 6, 5.9, 8, 5.7, 5.6, 5.5, and 5.4. 5.5 is the ideal pH for tomato plants. They say that at low pH tomato plants are able to absorb and utilize nutrients better and grow well. So hopefully the plant that will be fed on coffee should perform really well, and the plant that will be fed on cocoa powder with water should die. So I have labeled all 3 pots and put down the dates. This plant is going to be fed on cocoa powder, and this one is a neutral control. This will be fed with water only. And this one will be fed with coffee dissolved in water. Cocoa powder has a lot of nutrients in it. In fact, with the exception of nitrogen, it has all the nutrients that are required for the plant growth. It has calcium, iron, very high amount of magnesium, as you can see, a very high amount of phosphorus and potassium, and it also has a decent quantity of zinc. In fact, even for human beings, it is the best source of magnesium. No other food, to the best of my knowledge, has more magnesium than cocoa powder. But when dissolved in water, it raises pH significantly, which in theory should make these nutrients unavailable for the plants. That is in theory, and we yet have to see the facts. We have to see what cocoa powder as a fertilizer does to our plant. Coffee, on the other hand, has almost no nutrients other than caffeine, but it decreases pH significantly to a level which can potentially help plants to absorb nutrients, whatever are available in soil. I'm thinking that very low pH of coffee is probably the reason that coffee is frequently linked with gout, osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, osteoporosis, etc. Who knows what a very acidic beverage can do to your body. I never knew that coffee has such a low pH. Just learned a few minutes ago. Anyway, we will feed 2 of our plants with these 2 organic materials for a month, and then we'll see the results. So here we are exactly after a month. The experiment started on 29th of January 2017, and today is 19th of February 2017, exactly a month. The plant on the far right side was given plain water only. The plant in the middle was given coffee mixed in water every second day, and the third plant on the far left side was given cocoa powder mixed in water. You can clearly see that the plants that were fed on coffee and cocoa powder have grown much bigger in size. In fact, the one that had cocoa powder is the tallest and has bigger leaves. This plant actually showed fastest growth to start with. However, it slowed down later, and my assumption is that it started absorbing all the nutrients in cocoa powder to start with. Later on, high pH started playing its role. Do not know if you can see or not, but the leaves are slightly droopy on the plant on the far left side. The plant in the middle, although smaller in size as compared to the plant that was fed on cocoa powder, but it is slightly greener, and the leaves are greener as compared to 2 other plants. The plant that was given pure water, of course, had to use only nutrients that were available in potting mix and had to rely on the pH of the soil, whatever it was. So outcome of the experiment is that both cocoa powder and coffee had a positive effect on plant growth, at least in 1 month time. The plant on cocoa powder showed some signs of droopy leaves, which is an indication that the plant is not able to either absorb enough water from the roots or is probably transpiring more water. On the basis of high pH of cocoa powder, I'll assume that probably the first assumption is right. And I'm not really sure if giving a mixture of cocoa powder and coffee will really help plant growth better than any one alone. The acidic effect of coffee should be neutralized by alkaline effect of cocoa powder, and that should make high quantities of essential nutrients available to plant for maximum growth that are present in cocoa powder. All 3 plants will go into the soil pretty soon, despite of the fact that we are getting close to the end of the tomato growing season. I will start feeding one of the plants with a combination of cocoa powder and coffee, and we'll see if it does prove beneficial for that plant. Hopefully we'll make another video to let you know what happened, and thanks for watching.